Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, what is the domain of the following graph? So I'm looking for domain for the graph, right? Okay, so if you look at the graph, I have some features that you need to identify. For example, number one, look at the ends of the graph. If you notice on the left side, it has a circle that is shaded. Is that right? So for that end, I am going to use the symbols that are less than or equals or greater than or equals to. So the shaded allows you to put the little line underneath the inequality, which means equal. Okay. On the other side, since the circle is not shaded, then I can only choose from these two symbols, greater than or less than. Okay. That's the biggest difference that you want to think of. Okay, now let me go back to what's domain. Well, domain, if you remember, it refers to all the set of all possible values for the input, which is your x values. Okay, so when I'm thinking about domain, I'm going to think about x values. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the x. Now, how do I determine where do I stop on my domain? So think about this. What about if you consider domain as building like a fence? And the fence needs to go through the x. So what I mean by through the x, it means that when I build the fence, I'm going to have to draw the fence vertically because I want the line to cross the x. Does that make sense? Now, that fence is kind of far away. It's like your neighbor is going to say, hey, 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 move the fence because your lot ends where the little dot is. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to move that fence just enough to go right through that point. You guys see that? And once you do that, I want you to look at the point or the number on the x that is crossing through. It's crossing through -6. So I'm going to write down over here, -6. Okay? Now, what about on the right side? Let me erase a little bit this. Okay? And let me write down again, -6. Okay? What about on the right side? I am going to build a fence. And it has to go right through the circle that is not shaded. Is that right? And right there, my fence is going through what point? It's a positive, right? Yes, it is positive, and that will be a +4. So those two numbers are very important for us. That's where that domain is going to be. It's going to go from a -6 to a +4. So what I want to do is look at where my x is. This is the domain. Do you see the numbers that I'm highlighting? That's my domain, okay? So my domain goes from a -6 to a +4, but not to the left of -6. It's actually to the right. So what do you know about the numbers to the right of the -6? The numbers to the right are actually greater than, and I am going to use the sign that I have right here, right? One of these two. Since I have the line on the bottom, it's going to say greater than or equal to, and then the -6, right? So all my points are to the right of the -6, therefore it's greater than or equals to -6, but they're to the left of the +4, so they're gonna be less than +4. Okay, so do you see where the yellow line section is? Okay, so my answer for that should be letter B.